Hey,
Oh, I'm doing great.
so good to see you again. It's been a while,
It has been. It
about four
seems like
months.
yesterday, but then it has still been a while.
Yeah, sure, right, yes. Have you been doing?
Pretty good, I think. I think right now I'm kind of at a plateau.
Okay.
But Lisa's told me I'm probably going to be there a while because we still have a lot of toxin and gut issues that's just taking their sweet time to move, but I was full of them to start with.
For sure, for sure. Everything, it's always a journey and we're always working on something. Um, but Lori, I got to tell you, you win the prize. And I think you know this, but you won the prize. If I could put down and make a poster or an avatar of the most perfect candidate and most perfect patient for our program, it would be Lori Jeffries, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And when we first met, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not embarrassed to say, in just reviewing to meet with you today, I was going through your initial paperwork again, and I teared up. It was just, you are just an amazing story. And it, I never once for a moment doubted that we would be having this conversation right now today. Never once.
Well, I
And
had hoped that at one point we would be having this conversation because that meant I was really on not the downhill, but the downhill from where I was, which was in a really bad, bad place,
where
that
were
I
you?
had
Go
no
ahead.
idea.
Well, there were some things you had an idea about for sure.
A few.
Um, yeah, how is your neuropathy doing?
It's not gone, but it's much better. I have myself kind of weaned myself down from my gabapentin.
Okay.
So, and I'm doing okay with that, which tells me then that's in and of itself is healing.
Yes.
And, but I have not put on the green ice shoes.
That's my next question. So, you know what? Let me just share with and you know what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna only post this session with you. But Lori, this is how we met. So I did a master class, and Lori was so inspired by the material and of what she heard, and was so motivated to get into the driver's seat of her own health and wellness. She actually filmed a video of herself and posted it into the group saying what she was going to do, that I am going to reclaim my health and get into the driver's seat. And it was amazing. And you are the reason why we have a rising star segment, because I noticed that so many people saw the Star is Born. They wanted to be a Star is Born, but they hadn't begun, but they wanted to be involved. And that was Lori. Then I met with Lori and I got her intake form. And shoot, man, I'm gonna tell you. So Lori included, this is her vision board, her vision board. On the vision board, it says make it happen, believe, hard work, stay positive. Her goals are on there, her non-negotiables are on there. I like that little picture of like the woman with the club. She's like, no way, she's gonna bang this out of her life. Then Lori wrote me a full page of who Lori Jeffries is. And it is, she said she's a princess because she is the daughter of the King, Jesus Christ. She's a Christian woman. She has
Mhm.
four children, and she raised those four children pretty much on her own as a single mom. She's a grandma to four special little ones. At the time, the twin girls, were six, and had an 8-month-old grandson, and these were her wives. She's a hard worker, working three jobs at the time that we met her. Um, she's 63 years old. She says she's sick and tired of being sick and tired. She's a Sunday school teacher. And it's time to put herself first, she wrote, instead of everybody else. She included a picture of her entire family, her wives. And not only that, she Do you mind me speaking about your children?
No, that's okay. I'm
They
very
she
proud of them.
And you should be. She wrote that all four of her children, again, that she raised primarily on her own, all are college graduates. Her eldest son um, presented two of his papers to Space Aeronautical Conference in Beijing. Her middle son has 2 degrees. Her youngest son has a singing voice that won't stop, and was asked to join the Gaither vocal band for a night. Amazing. Her daughter, the baby, competed in USTA gymnastics for years. My goodness. So a very proud mama. And then on the back, it shows how proud her children are of her. She included a Facebook post that her son, I won't be able to. Her son posted on Mother's Day about the type of woman his mom was and is. She also posted her non-negotiables and then her no ways. And her non-negotiables were I'm no more being sick and tired. I want my CRP less than 1. No dialysis, no Alzheimer's, no blindness. I want to watch my grandkids grow up and they need me. And I want to enjoy my retirement. Her no ways were, if nothing changes, what my future will look like. More and increased meds, dialysis, blindness, heart attack, and early death. So from these non-negotiables, and this is the way I'm taking some time here, Lori, and I'm using you as an example, and I appreciate it because this is what people should be doing. They need to look at what's in the mirror. They need to look at the negative vision of the future, and from there, establish goals. And your goals
Mhm.
were awesome. Let's see if you reached them. So, number one goal is I want to get out of the back seat and I want to get into the driver's seat. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm there. I am there.
For sure. Check. I want Dr. Raj to admit me into the program. Check mark. I
Yep.
want to drive and kick Dr. Turley to the curb. Now, explain that.
Dr. Shirley has been my doctor for a couple of different years. And actually, in December, she left and moved to Kentucky. But before that, there wasn't anything except pushing pills.
Sure.
And I would do these blood work and blood work and blood work. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Well, no, I wasn't. And I wasn't getting any help. And I knew that if I kept on this road with her, I was going to have nothing but problems in the future. And I didn't want that. And I needed to try and find either another doctor, somebody that's going to be able to help me get out of where I was because I want to fight. And she didn't want me to fight, literally.
Did you
And
know
so,
at that time that there was another way? Did you know that type 2 diabetes was reversible? Did you just have an inkling? What was it that drove you?
well, first off, I had no idea until I saw your master class. And I thought, are you kidding me? Why doesn't somebody say something? And that's what started the whole thing off is this can be done. I've been diabetic for over 40 years. Are you kidding me? I could have done this years ago,
Yes.
but it just, there was nothing ever said, ever. And when I mentioned something to her and the nurse practitioner, at the time that I was starting this program, they looked at me, yeah, like, yeah, right, that's going to happen.
So
Ain't
what now?
no
What has their response been? And I'll review your results in a moment because they're off the charts. You reversed your chronic kidney disease. I mean, and your diabetes went from your A1C. So before you I'll go ahead and tell everybody before you tell me what your doctor's responses were, because they had to be. Now, with your results, I've seen two things. I've seen 90% of the time doctors just like don't know what to say. They're like, wow, Lori, congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. That's 90% of the time. 10% of the time they get mad. They truly get mad. They're like, well, you don't need me. I've had a patient who was kicked out of their doctor's office. Like, well, you want to listen to me? You want to do that? You don't need me. Don't come back. So I will tell everybody your results, and then you tell me what your NP and doc's response was. I can't wait. I can't wait. But your glucose when we met, fasting blood glucose was at 180. And as of our last blood work, which was just last month. So that was December, just so people know. December, and the most recent blood work was at the end of April. So about 12 weeks. 12 weeks? 16 weeks. 16 weeks. So your blood glucose went from 180 to 97. Your EGFR, which is kidney filtration, and that should be above 90. You were at 68. Stage 2 kidney disease headed towards stage 3. Your EGFR now is 89. It's one tick away from being normal.
Mhm.
That's reversal of your chronic kidney disease. Yeah, baby. Your TSH, TSH, which is a thyroid marker, should be between 1.8 and 3. You were at 5.010, and now we're at 2.3. Your TSH is normal. Your triglycerides. Oh man, in your cholesterol profile, your triglycerides were 356. They should not be over 100. They are now at 98. 98. Your A1C, well, I'll do that last. Your insulin got better. Your insulin went from 3 times the amount of insulin in your body to normal. To normal. Your vitamin D went from 28 to 97. Wow. CRP. Now, this was the big one for you. CRP was the inflammatory marker surrounding your heart, increasing your risk for a heart attack. Anything above 3 is a high risk. You are at 2.99. You want this number under 1, and that was one of your goals. I want my CRP under 1. You're currently at 1.73, a significant reduction. Not there yet, but holy moly, you've taken the gas, a lot of gas, off of the fire. And now the drum roll for your A1C. In the 16 weeks, you went from 9.6 A1C to 5.7.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. So tell me now, you went back to see your doc, and initially, and just so you know, all of you, I typically tell patients not to inform their docs of the program that they are about to begin. Because of the reaction is similar to what they only believe in empirical data. So anything you tell them that you're going to do is phooey. When you come in and show them what you have done and have the lab work to back it up, that's when you have a bent ear. That's when they're willing to listen. That's when I hear patients tell me that their doctors took pictures on their cell phone of the supplements. They're writing them down furiously, like that's going to be the answer. But then they're listening. What was their reaction?
Well, as I said, Dr. Turley had left the practice and she's moved, so I have no contact with her. I would
Sure.
love to, but I don't.
Ah,
Um, in April, when I went back for my regular check on everything, I actually got to see the new doctor that came in. I thought I was going to be seeing the nurse practitioner.
sure.
And we did things, and I handed her my latest blood work. And I said, "You have my other blood work." I says, "I've been on this program. I am reversing my type 2 diabetes. I am winning. I still have a little ways to go, And I said, before you even look at everything, I says, I've already been taking off half my medicine and I will come off the rest of it.
Right
No
on.
questions. I will. And you blew me away. She said, I will help you get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So I am just so thankful and thrilled that I now have somebody that is technically my PCP that is willing to say yes.
Well, listen,
That
it's easy to find bandwagon fans. I mean, look, you're a winner. You come in with empirical data that you're winning. You tell them that you're winning. They see it. They're like, "She's winning. I'm going to help you. I'm your fan." And that's great. Now, what medications were you able to reduce and eliminate?
I totally eliminated my Ozempic.
Awesome.
I had been taking Trulicity, but then my insurance quit paying for it.
Yes.
So they put me on Ozempic, which I really didn't like, but okay, I had to have it to try and keep those numbers down because my numbers were almost my A1C was almost a 13 at one point. So that was totally eliminated. My glimepiride I was taking twice a day. I now only take once a day, so that's a 50% reduction. And my Semglee insulin, I've gone from 10 units to 8 units.
Awesome.
So, and then, as I said, my gabapentin, I'm not quite cut it in half yet, but it's getting there. But I
Awesome.
want off all of it. I want it all gone.
Well, I think you're well on your way. Ozempic's gone. Uh, Glimepiride cut in half.
Mm-hmm.
Insulin reduction. Um, Amazing. So here are the goals that you had listed. I want my body to heal. Yes. You wanted to drive and kick Dr. Turtle. We'll go find him. We'll take a road trip, you and I. No, I'm just kidding. You want to get off your meds, which you have and are still in the process of doing. I want to lose weight. How much weight have you lost?
Oh, probably about 35 pounds.
Amazing. 16 weeks. Wow. I want to be healthier. Do you feel healthier?
Yes, I really do.
More energy?
I'm going to say yes to a point.
Okay, it's coming back.
Well, here's the thing. Actually today being Friday, I'm off work today because tax season has finally settled down
Yes.
and between January 1st and about May the 20th, I'm working 18, 19-hour days
Wow.
between three jobs.
Wow.
And so now that it's slowing down, yes, I'm able to rest a little bit more and, just have that extra energy. But even with all the hours I was working, I still had the energy to do it. I wasn't dragging my feet. I gotta go home. So it's all
And
been great.
meal prep, you've been able with that type of schedule, you've been able to stay on track.
I have, and that's because my Sundays after I get home from church and lunch with the ladies, my afternoon is spent cooking for the entire week because I don't have time to come home and cook.
I love it,
And
Lori.
so
Yeah.
I get all that pretty well together and have everything ready to go, all my supplements, and things. I've got all those
Grab
ready
and
to go
go.
for the week. So that way it's grab and go.
Yeah. So I highly suggest that make Sunday the meal prep day. As you see, the cooking segments I'm doing with my daughter, they're all on Sundays. We go out, we wake up in the morning, we make a day of it. We wake up in the morning, we pick out a recipe, we go to the supermarket, we get all the ingredients, then we come home and cook it up, and we have leftovers for days, and quite often we make several meals at once. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun and it's a good family event too. So I want to be a success in getting rid of my type 2 diabetes. You are indeed, you right. I want to be a Linda number two. You are indeed, yes. And then I added a goal for you. And this is quite funny, but you already referred to it, is you had these slippers, these iced slippers. They were glove slippers that you would take and you concocted, and you would put these slippers on to help with your neuropathy in your feet. And I had written down a 10th goal for you, which is throw away the iced slippers. Were we able to do that?
I haven't thrown them away yet. They're still in the freezer, but they're in the back of the freezer. I haven't touched them since I started.
That's great. That's what I want to hear. Just amazing, really. So um, what made you want to do this program? What was it that moved the needle? What was it that convinced you that this could be done and that this was the path? And what would you tell others who are watching? You know, it's so difficult. Real quick, before you say that, I was speaking to a patient yesterday, and he unfortunately he had a heart attack. He had to have a bypass surgery. While they did the bypass surgery, they nicked his lungs, so now he can't breathe properly. Um, and the heart attack was caused by the type 2 diabetes. And when I spoke to him about the cost of the program, his wife was like, "Now listen, if you were able to prevent a heart attack, because she was a patient and she was headed towards her CRP was through the roof, much higher than yours, and she normalized it. And we were reviewing it, so she avoided a heart attack like Linda Marks, like you, which is awesome. And she turned to her husband. She said, if you were able to reverse your diabetes, avoid the heart attack that resulted in the surgical error that makes it difficult for you to breathe, all by paying blank, wouldn't that be worth it?" And he goes, "I don't know." So I'm going to tell you something. It's not for everybody, you know? So what was it for you that you're like, the patients that I'm going to tell you, anyone who's listening, you want to succeed, be Lori Jeffries. There was not a question in my mind. This is a perfect patient, perfect compliance, perfect results. So what made you want to do this? And what would you tell others?
Well, what made me want to do it was a simple fact that you said it can be done. And I've never heard that before in my life. And okay, it can be done. What does it take to do it? Okay. But then I thought, I'm 63 years old. I keep going the way I am, not realizing how bad things really were. Okay. But I felt horrible, and my doctor just did nothing but increase medicine, increase medicine. You know, that's all we can do. You know, this isn't going to go away. Um, my future was not looking good at all. Not with dialysis. I already have issues with my eyes anyway. I don't need them to get worse, which they would. And I certainly don't want to die anytime soon. Now, if the good Lord says it's time, it's time. There's nothing that's going to prevent that. But if I have it within my power to make myself better, then so be it. And you had said, and I don't remember if it was in a Tuesday Night Live or if it was in the master class, I forget, but it's not left me. If I were told today that I have cancer, what would I do? Well, I guarantee you I'd do everything I could to get rid of it. And that's not cheap. Well, type 2 diabetes is basically the same thing, and it can be changed, and my life can be much better. You know, here I am 6 months later from when I started, and I am so much better I can't even see straight. It's just been phenomenal. And you know, the things that your detective work and the test results that you order, uh, they brought to the surface so many things that I had no earthly idea of. What I thought I was doing all the right stuff, and you know, no, I wasn't. And this program has literally saved my life in so many ways. And if anybody is even thinking about it, don't think about it, do it. You have no earthly idea of how this is going to change your life so much for the better. And yeah, it's not cheap, we'll put it that way, but healthcare isn't either. Dialysis, you go for dialysis 3 times a week. Oh my heavens, that's going to get highly expensive. And you have surgeries, you have all kinds of other things going on. It's going to cost you astronomical
Well, hold
to
on,
get
not
through all
not
that.
necessarily. The gentleman I was speaking to yesterday, he had the heart attack, he had the bypass surgery, they nicked his lung, they had secondary surgeries to try to fix that, but it was all covered by his insurance. So when presented with the cost of the program that must come out of pocket, because insurance doesn't cover supplements, doesn't cover, they cover the drugs and the surgery, and asked, would it be worth it for you to pay out of pocket than to have all these surgeries and all these complications in your life that is covered by insurance? He's like, I don't know. So that's the difference between a good qualified candidate. And I will tell you this, and this is what you're kind of leaning on. The fact of the matter is that if you depend on your health insurance to keep you healthy, it's like depending
It
on
doesn't.
your life insurance to keep you alive. You'll become a
No, it
statistic.
doesn't work.
No, unfortunately
Mm-mm.
not. It's a bad program. It's a broken healthcare system.
It's a broken system, but your program is the Taj Mahal of possibilities, literally. Like I said, a year ago never even heard of any of it.
Sure.
And a year later, uh, after I started the program back in November, oh, had I known this was available, I would have done it long before now. Absolutely long before now. And don't anybody listening, do not tarry. Just do it. Get your testing done. Uh, get on board with Dr. Raj and his team. My health coach, Lisa, love her to death. She has been a wonder to work with. And yeah, this program is well worth it.
Well, you were well worth it, Lori. An inspiration to us all. Truly, you move me. And just we had a staff meeting earlier this morning, and I was a couple minutes late because I was reviewing all of your information, and I came on teary-eyed. They're like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Lori Jeffries." And Lisa was like, "Yep, yep." It's just a great story, and I'm so super proud of you. I'm so crazy happy that you are in our family, and there for your family, and will be for a very long time. And I want to thank you for sharing your story with everybody, because when I speak to people and I ask them what moves the needle most, you said it was me, but a lot of times people need to hear it, and I understand more than just from me and my mouth. They need to hear it from the horse's mouth, and today that was you, and I greatly appreciate you sharing your story with others. It will resonate and hopefully help them.
Well, thank you, Dr. Raj. Like I said, you literally have saved my life.
Uh,
I mean,
well,
bottom line,
you-
because if I had not done this, I don't know how long it would be before I'd be gone.
I would agree.
And
You reclaimed your
and
life for
it's
sure.
absolutely. And yep, I'm a lifer.
You're a lifer, yeah. Well, now you reclaimed it and you got a whole lot more life to live. Lori Jeffries, you are a superstar. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, hold on.